And this is what will get you attention. This is especially for students. This is what will get you attention of people. No more is just knowing important. How you got there, what approach did you take, and what is your contribution to that particular concept or thinking. Even if you have an opinion about it, having an opinion, why do you think, in several foreign movies, when you watch teenagers, they talk all the time? Because in school they are taught to have an opinion. They are taught to have an opinion and then express it. And that's where it's the beginnings of original thinking. It's just the start. If you talk about academics, going all the way to PhD is the probably only place where you will get to have original thinking in science. Because PhD is where you do research and you try to find out whether something is worth, you test a concept, all of those things. But for various commonplace things in life, you can just apply. You'll find something. It's just about concentrating. And independent study, independent assignments, independent career search. I don't think placement offices are relevant anymore. Not required. People will find their way. You can go participate in an international competition, get a good ranking, send it to the career page of any company, and the company will notice you. People will find their own way. So, this is just small concluding thoughts, and with that, I'll say thanks and close the session. Any more questions? And these are some resources on the web which Google has for education. You can just note them down, or keywords, and that's about it. Sir.
Well, sir, initially I must appreciate that your speech was very good and it has initiated certain amount of thoughts.
Thank you.
And main thing I would like to ask is, since you work in Google, I am very much interested in developing my own algorithms and using it to real-time biological problems. Will I have any place in Google, like PhD fellowship and that kind of other things? Sure.
So this is started only this year.
Oh.
Of $45,000 per student.
Okay.
For 4 years, which means the entire duration of PhD.
Sure.
So next year the application for this will open in January.
Sure,
and,
sir.
You can look up our website and apply.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Right? Okay. Sir, there's a gentleman at the back. Yeah.
I seem to have missed the thunder really, but I'm here for the last act. But your last two slides were absolutely thought-provoking. One of the questions that parents and probably many students keep asking me is, what do I make of myself in my life? What is Google's answer to that?
I think Google's answer is how Google's product philosophy goes, which is experiment and iterate.
Okay, let me try again.
Yeah.
If you were to catch the generation which is in schools today, what is it that you would be your offering? Because they're going to be your future customers.
I think awareness and, just that independence part is probably the most important thing. I don't think we are right now in a country where opportunities are limited to certain professions. They are available all over the place, no matter what you want to be. And therefore, teaching people to be critical of avenues and ideas and then figuring out what is their own interest is the most important thing, because that is what will lead to satisfaction later. So let's treat it like a test match and not a 2020 game, and make a choice at the end of class 6 about what you want to do. Learn and experiment. I mean, we're somehow losing the concept of universities. Universities was universal education. Technically, if I'm studying engineering, if I like a history lecture, I should have been able to walk into that and attend it. But we have institutes of technology which have no place for a history department. So those things will change, they'll take their own time, but just as wide as possible until you are at a point where you can't afford not to make a choice. Yeah, so, right. Yes, ma'am.
What role do Google student ambassadors have in Google?
So, student ambassador is our connection to colleges, because just having, I mean, I am the only person, and there's one more colleague of mine in Hyderabad, but we have how many? 3,000 engineering colleges in India. So we are starting small, but each college we are trying to have one student ambassador. So now next thing, if any of these competitions get launched, Code Jam or Summer of Code, if I want to send a message to the students, I can send it to the ambassador. Ambassador can spread it in the college. The second thing we want to do is try and have a lot of map data. So with student ambassadors' help, if some of them come forward, we want to do mapping parties on their campus. And this is like, go sit there, order pizzas for 20 students, and for 3 hours you are just adding places on the map. So activities like this is what we would like to do with student ambassadors. This year we are starting small. So there are some colleges who we have invited to join, but for all of you here, you can just write to me at this email ID and I can point you students to the place where you can apply for the student ambassador. Okay? Yes. Yeah.
You have something called Google Apps for Education, right?
Yeah.
The site is very vague about what is the criteria for Indian colleges.
Okay.
It's very general. It says it needs a .edu domain. I mean, my college has a .edu, but no other college will get a .edu.
So I think the site is more confined to Western standards.
Yeah.
But .edu.in would work also. But I think if you, this is basically about somebody verifying that you are indeed a university.
Okay.
Because I think it's being provided for free. So just write to me and I can pass it on to the Apps for Edu team for follow-up. Okay.
Thank you.
As simple as that. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Thanks for your thought-provoking session.
Thank you.
Whenever you talk about Indian education, you need to think about the linguistic divide and the rural-urban divide. So only the 10 to 20% know English. The rest of the learning takes place in their own language. So what's Google's role in bridging that divide, linguistic divide or rural divide?
So apart from concepts like translator and all which are out there, which are obviously not perfect, Google being a company that is developing the basic platform, you saw in the keynote today that languages are being added to Android. You have translation, alliteration, keyboards and all which are getting added. But Google as a company is not somebody who will create the content. So if IIT lectures are available in English, somebody would make Tamil subtitles of that and put them over there and those things can be added. I mean, you could do a project today and go to IIT Madras, I mean, just down the road and add subtitles to those lectures. So the platforms are out there. The task is for people who are creating content to come forward and contribute. I'll give you an example, and this is not from education, this is from agriculture. There is a NGO called Digital Green, and digitalgreen.org is their website. Now they are headquartered in Delhi. They go to various villages and they videotape farmers doing their work. Just basic things. So how do you sow the seeds and how do you do irrigation and how do you spray pesticides and those things like that. Today they have, I think, more than 3,000 videos of farmers all over the country. And all they did was just go to places and videotape them. And it's up on YouTube. Now the next thing to do is provide access to village community. Even one computer sitting in a village can show this content to other farmers. So they just do it in, so it's about people who create content. The platform is there. Yeah, okay. So I think I'm out of time and I should leave you all with sufficient time for lunch and a break. So thank you very much and I'm here for questions right now. Okay, thank you.